Gentlemen, how are we? The cup has been awarded.
Yes, as we've predicted, because Game 7 would have been yesterday.
So, wait a minute, because I listened to last episode. Did you? Oh, okay. I was about to say, because you both had it going to 7, didn't you? But obviously, no, you did say the series was going to be done. But before we get to that, though, I wanted to say that today is a very special anniversary in the world of hockey. It is the anniversary of 3 different things that happened in the span of 23 minutes. Very famously, the trade is 1-for-1, Taylor Hall for Adam Larson. Steven Stamkos re-signs in Tampa, and famously, and the most relevant to this podcast, PK Subban for Shea Weber. The day that was so big and the trade that was so big, I had people text me who hate hockey saying what has just happened. What do you guys, where were you when the 23 minutes of madness happened?
I was sitting on my couch at home, to be honest. There's no I don't have a grand story here, unfortunately. I was literally sitting on my couch, my guess probably watching something hockey related. And it was just like, boom. Okay. I think, what was it that came first? It was 1-for-1.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I believe so. Yeah, so. It was 1-for-1. Yeah.
And then Stamkos signed, and I'm like, that one hurt a little bit. And then we moved on to it was 1-for-1 part 2. I don't know why we don't. I don't know why we don't call it that, but I guess because Bob McKenzie didn't have that in his tweet. But that was on my couch.
Daniel,
I was at High Park. I remember this vividly. I was at High Park with family, just enjoying the day. I think some extended family came to visit, so we were just kind of showing them around the western part of the city. And a friend calls me because I didn't have my data on. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have anything on. And he just says, Taylor Hall. And then he just said, I'm like, what? And he's like, 1-for-1. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, okay, bye. I'm like, what? And then I checked Twitter. I'm like, wow, that actually did happen. And then I believe we sat down for a coffee. And then for the next 23 minutes, I just was looking at all the analysis, and then all these things start coming up. It's like, oh, this happened and this going on. And like, I was not shocked by it because it was Peter Chiarelli at first. But when the Subban one happened, that one shocked me because I believed Marc Bergevin when he said that he would not trade PK Subban.
Oh, Daniel.
I was too young.
Naive.
Yes.
I was at home. I remember I was sitting at my the kitchen island, and I think I found out for the first time ever. I found out by watching CP24, which was, I don't know how. And then the text came in, and I had my ex texted me, and she hates hockey, right? And I think I have a big part of that. But she's like, what's this? And that's the thing of that's when it was groundbreaking. And I remember that, and I've said this before, that the first time I've ever really, really looked into the depth of a contract was 2 weeks before the Subban trade, because I was just looking at Shea Weber's randomly. And I think it was on General Manager at the time too, which, funny enough, I remember back in the day when we had General Manager, and even older hockey fans are like, oh, tell me about Capke. But anyway, and I remember at that moment, it hit me like, he has 11 years left on the contract. It was a disaster. And I've told you, there have been a few times where I've nearly cut the cord of being a Habs fan. That was the first time. I came close. And it was somehow an even trade all these years later. And now he's a Vegas Golden Knight dead contract. But that was wild.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Sure.
Because you talked about the 11 years left on that contract. I know the Preds had to match that from the Flyers with that illegal contract.
Yeah.
In 2013, right? Yes.
Couldn't tell you.
Because that was also when they lost Ryan Suter to. Oh no, that was 2012. We lost Ryan Suter to the Wild. You mentioned that 11 years, but how long did it take you to warm up to Shea Weber?
It took. I think it took once he started playing, because you could feel his presence right away. Shea Weber's play style, he slid in really, really well, to the point of, you could tell that, the puck movement was gone from the back end. But obviously, Petrie sort of recovered a bit of it. But like he fit in really well. Like I don't think Weber ever had a really bad stretch except that last COVID shortened season. Sort of like the 56 games because you could tell it was just. But then he finished it off with the playoffs and you kind of forget it. But like he was good right away. He came as advertised. So I warmed up to the guy right away, but it was that whole summer. And remember, it was right after the draft. So we had, not only was it, there was no more news after that because it was right after, it would have been, there was free agency, but nothing was going to come close to that. And then you just had the rest of the summer to stew on it. So it was a long summer. But then, he just, the physicality, the slap shot, it was, he fit in. I miss PK, obviously.
This was the same summer too. Like the Habs got a bit more aggressive. They got Weber and then they got Andrew Shaw.
Was that also? Oh yes. Okay, I remember this. So I was devastated that that week because it was the draft started and Bettman was like, we have a trade to announce. And he said Montreal, and everyone at that moment probably thought it was the Weber trade, but it was Montreal trading Lars Eller to Washington, who was my favorite player beside Carey. And I was devastated. Like I was almost in tears. And they brought in Andrew Shaw. I'm like, what are we doing here? And then famously, that was the pick they traded away to begin Alex DeBrincat. And then it was already rough enough that they had traded Eller. And then a couple of days later, it's like, oh, hey there. Here's this guy. And then they brought in Radulov. I think was it the year after? I think they brought Radulov in either that year or after. I can't remember. It's a bit fuzzy because I think it may have been the offseason after that is when they lost Markov or something. It was like it was consecutive summers where everything was going wrong. It was wild, man. It was wild. Anyway,
it was a 14-year contract signed in the summer of 2012.
Oh my God.
That's brutal. And hey, and he's still being effective on and off the ice. Mainly off the ice for the Vegas Golden Knights now, though. But hey, it's an important day in history that I think we always have to talk about. But now to get on to the main meat and potatoes. The Colorado Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions. I was busy and working, so I didn't get to watch the game, which I'm really mad about. I got out of work and I looked at my phone. I saw it was 2-1. I looked and I saw Lekin had the game-winning goal and I lost it. But I mean, I can't remember the last time there was such a beloved team to win the Stanley Cup and so many, great stories. And just quickly, of course, Cale Makar unanimously gets the Conn Smythe. What a year for him overall. Jared Bednar becomes the first coach ever to win the Kelly Cup in the AHL, the ECHL, the Calder Cup in the AHL, and then a Stanley Cup. We'll get to all the individuals in a second here because I want to go through their roster and then we can go next to Colorado, what's next for Tampa Bay and all that. And then Alex and I are going to talk about John Cooper. But and the officiating at some point too, because I wasn't here for the last episode and I have something to say. But guys, I think it's fair to say the better team won this series at the end of the day. Sure. It's weird to think, but we were all unsure, and that's to speak to Tampa's reputation. But the Avs, I don't think were scared. They were nervous in Game 5, but I don't think they were ever scared of Tampa Bay.
No, I don't think they were either. And I think, looking at Tampa Bay from this year compared to, let's say, the last 2 years, I don't think it's the same Tampa Bay team. I think, and I'm not using these as excuses, just the reality. Every team goes through them. Mm-hmm. Some roster turnover, like the core guys were there, but I don't think their third line was as strong as it was last year. Injuries. But what makes them different than the last 2 years is that they won the last 2 years, right? Like that's what I think every time we said, no disrespect to the opposing team, but Tampa's done this, and this. Mm-hmm. It's just a fact. That's what they've done. But at the end of the day, Colorado was the better team.
Even the advanced numbers said so. Like every game they won, it was clear that they were the better team. It was, even when the fancy stats and that lined up, they deserved it. Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. I was gonna say that because Colorado won, it brought balance back to the Force, at least for now. Because the favorite team, the team that people loved, won. That Tampa wasn't just gonna win again for a third time, and I agree with Alex that there was a bit of vulnerability, I think, on Tampa's end. And listen, look, it's amazing they still made it to the finals, but it's pretty obvious when you go on these types of runs, there's just going to be that exhaustion. There's going to be that injury bug that happened that we saw that was going on with them. And we've talked about next man up, and I think they did it the best they could. I think just Colorado did it better based on the depth they had. But for the Lightning, I think they just did really feel it when guys were not 100%. You didn't have Braden Point for a lot of it. And you did bring in these guys, but they just were not at that same level I think we saw the last 2 years. In terms of, sorry, go on.
No, sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. In terms of it, I think it's weird. Like Colorado just was that team they were supposed to be, but they look like they were just that Tampa team of last year. Just injuries happen, next man up. They have the core. They're going to go through changes too, but at least for this year, we saw what they could do.
They like Braden Point was never quite. The few times he got in the lineup wasn't Braden Point. I thought the game he played, I thought he was starting to look good, but then it just sort of it never came back into the series. It also doesn't help. It looks like Brandon Hagel was hurt very early in the playoffs too. I'm pretty sure. It took him a little while to get into the groove there, and then maybe as he was finding in the playoff, boom, there it goes. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning playoff injuries here. And this was from Julian Breezeball and then Sportsnet put it up. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, a meniscus injury starting the playoffs. Anthony Cirelli, a shoulder AC joint sprain versus the Rangers, and a dislocated other shoulder versus the Avs. I think that would have been in Game 5, wouldn't it? Kucherov and MCL sprain versus the Avs. Nick Paul, shoulder AC joint sprain versus the Rangers, and an MCL sprain versus the Avs. Corey Perry, we'll get to him. I feel so bad. Corey Perry, a shoulder AC joint sprain versus the Rangers. Point had a significant quad tear versus Toronto. Ryan McDonough had a mangled finger from a block shot versus the Rangers.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Because I read it
after Crosby slashed it. Like, what does that mean?
No, I'm like, mango. I did not know that was the word to use to describe an injury. I've been using it just
like a medical term. Yeah.
So, I didn't know it was a medical term. Sorry.
So this was another thing that someone put up here is Tampa Bay went 14-26 without a shot on goal in Game 6 from 15:40 of the second period to 10:06 of the third period. I think what doesn't help is also like the depth scoring, I think, dried up. Like the Jan Ruda goal should not have happened. I thought that was brutal when I saw it. But like, I don't think Alex Killorn scored a goal in the playoffs period. It dried up. And a big part of that also is the tremendous effort defensively by the Avs in game 6. Again, didn't watch it, wanted to. But what I could see, at least from there, was just a tremendous defensive game where they got the jitters out in Game 5. And then Game 6 rolled around. They said, hi there. I'm going to win this cup now. Credit there, and then we can start. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the quote that I read to Daniel last game from Mikko Rantanen, basically saying it's gonna be easier this game, and like, and again, it looked easier, man, it definitely looked easier for them. But they won, obviously, but I just think if you watch the game, it definitely looked easier for them than it did in Game 5.
Tampa were rattled, I think, and you saw that the way they were melting down. Patrick Maroon, from what I saw, I don't think should have finished that. I think if the Avs were a less experienced team, I think they crack in Game 6. But Tampa weren't going down swinging; they were going down kicking and screaming. Away.
Oh
yeah.
They were Kucherov losing it and throwing his broken stick at the equipment manager. I harp on Kucherov a lot, but in that moment, in that emotion, I'm not going to harp him on that, even though someone on the bench gave him a stick, idiots. But, you could tell, like, I doubt obviously not a lot of that team was part of the run that lost to Chicago for the third cup in 2015. But the loss for them, I don't know if any kind of loss would feel the same. And I know Friedman in 32 Thoughts afterwards said they're still not that they are still a dynasty despite not winning 3 straight. I don't agree with that. I think we need to be sterner with no. Because
are the Penguins a dynasty?
No. Because they won
3 cups
in 5 years? 5 or 6?
Okay.
The 3 cups in
one in 2009, then 16, 17.
Yeah. It's like
that's a lot longer.
Yeah, I don't.
But they went to the finals in 2008 as well.
And the Blackhawks too. It's like they were never the definitive team in the West. Because they were plus even the third one was in a 6-year span. I just think I refuse to put them on a pedestal with the Islanders and the Habs of those 7. Because here's the thing, I don't think so. And the point I'm trying to go back to here is that must be the most heartbreaking sort of loss those guys are ever going to have. And I just want to read you the call that I saw that Chris Cuthbert had, and I thought it was tremendous. Quote, "The dynasty will be denied. A new legacy begins. They've reached the summit, and the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions." I think describes it perfectly. Tremendous call, by the way. Amazing from Chris.
Can I ask you a question, though? Are the Oilers a dynasty?
So I was having discussion because Gretzky never won 3 straight.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I thought they had. No. And here's what bothers me.
Even if it's 3 and 4?
I'm the Golden State Warriors. Sorry, I know that's basketball, but because they won.
That's a great comparison. The Golden State Warriors, are they dynasty?
They never won 3 straight, did they?
They never won 3.
But is that the definite? I'm confused. Is that the definition? If bare minimum,
there's ever been one, to be honest.
Pardon?
I just think I don't think there's ever really been a quote unquote way of saying it. It's just. I think 3 straight is just the sort of, there's the hat trick. There's the, I don't know why I said turkey. A turkey's 3 strikes in a row, right? You know what I mean? It's just, that's at least just my opinion. I just don't think it's at that level. It's super special, and it's more impressive because they've done it in the Cap era, but still they just didn't quite, they had a chance to become legendary, and now they're just from franchise. They were going to be franchise, but now they're just elite potential.
What about the Red Wings? I know it's before Cap era.
No way, but Dan. But if they win 3 and 4, if they and I'm creating hypothetical here.
They win next year.
If they win next year, 3 and 4, and they could, it's not like I'm saying Toronto's going to win the cup next year. This is a realistic hypothetical here.
Yeah, 100%.
You're saying my 2022 prediction was hypothetical.
So, no, I'm saying it was borderline crazy.
Are they a dynasty if they win next year?
Because I think 3 and 4 is still impressive, even if it's not in the Cap era. How many teams have done it?
Someone kicked you off. I don't like it. It's listen. Here's the comparison, right? Michael Jordan, there were those when he retired, and obviously he came back and they lost 3 straight. And he did it twice. I'm not saying you need to have 2 3-peats. That's mythical. But I think the 3-peat is just something too special. I just don't nothing wrong with it. LeBron James, never part of a dynasty. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, he's
the second best player in the
world. I'm going
to
check the LA Lakers in the 80s because I don't know if they won. I don't think they won. They didn't win in a row, I think.
So
3 in a row.
Then I'll stay right here. And the NHL crowned that team the best of all time, which I think is an insult to the Islanders of the Habs of the 70s.
Which one?
It was one of the 80s Oilers teams. They crowned the best team of all time, which I think is ridiculous because the Islanders of the 80s were just on a whole different level. And the Canadians of the 70s changed the power play and had a year when they only had 18 regulation losses. I think it's an insult. Obviously, those were before I was born. But I think it's we got win. No, I think, and I've been going on about this for months now. We got to be more stern with legacies here. You know what I mean? I think that's why I was a bit sort of thinking not last episode, the one before, about talking about the greatest king of all time, the greatest Leaf of all time. I just think we got to be more stingent when it comes to legacy. Like Vasilevsky can still be one of the greatest of all time, but he's not the GOAT when it comes to goaltenders. As he could win 3 straight, I don't think I could ever say that anyway because I'm a bitter bastard. But
sorry,
wait, can we go back?
The Lakers didn't win 3 in a row. Sorry, the Lakers didn't win 3 in a row with Magic Johnson. They only won 3 in a row when they were the Minneapolis Lakers in the 50s.
Well, then that's the dynasty.
Okay,
Sorry,
they have 3. They have 3 or 4.
Wait. Can I ask you? So the gold. This is so off topic, but I'm just now so curious. Mm-hmm. The Golden State Warriors from 2014 to 2018, they won 3 of 4. They also made it to the NBA. They made it to the NBA Finals in 5 straight years. Then they missed the playoff. They won 3. Then they won 3, and they won it 3. They won it 3 of those.
No, because they blew a 3-1 series lead to LeBron. You can't do that. You can't be a dynasty and blow. It's like LeBron can't be the GOAT again. And when Michael Jordan went 6-0 in the finals, you know what I mean? I can't give that when you're a dynasty. You're damn good. You're one of the great. You're not a dynasty. You're freaking good. But listen, you blew a 3-1 series lead to LeBron. Okay. You could if they had won that series and LeBron never beats the Warriors. LeBron, his legacy is completely different, but the fact that he had one of the best comebacks in NBA history. Maybe Don and Will are better to have on to talk about this. But
can I tell you one crazy stat though before we leave the basketball talk?
Sure.
So Bill Russell has, I think, 11 rings.
Yes.
From 1959 up until 1966,
mm-hmm.
the Celtics won 8 in a row.
It's insane.
Wow. Since we're talking about basketball, I feel I should talk about the Guelph Nighthawks. I'm just sorry. I didn't do it last episode. I had to get it in there.
Just get it.
I had to get it in there.
Get it out the way.
Yo, let's go, Lucas Nogueira.
No,
baby.
There it is.
Baby.
I'm just trying to get up Hockey DB quickly because I want to get up our beloved members of the Colorado Avalanche so we can just quickly go through everyone who played here because the Avs, this team, they were crowned. This is a team of destiny. They're not the comeback story that Joe Biden seemed to say they were. Joe, you double check whoever gave them that line. That wasn't
right.
Yeah,
honestly, someone needs to have a sit down.
Come on, man. Not enough. I don't know if he fell off that bike too hard a couple weeks ago, but come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. That's not enough. By the way, I love how officially the Avs were the first team to damage the cup before leaving the ice.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
that was fun.
Why was Nikolai Aube-Kubel the one carrying it too?
Was he the last guy to go around?
I guess so. Maybe there was somebody did put up the order, but I didn't screenshot it. But I imagine maybe him or like Curtis McDermott because I remembered he was on that team. It's really funny when you look at some of the names here and we'll go through them. But I saw them like, what? Who are these people? I have never heard. I think
we should start with Darren Helm.
I mean, yeah, great.
Red Wings legend, Darren.
Good for him because he went. What was it like since 2008 before winning? Well, he had a cup.
He has a cup, yeah. Oh. And he got that crazy good contract from Ken Holland.
Oh yeah. What was that? It was like 3.25 for like
100
years or something.
Yeah.
And why will Darren Helm be a Edmonton Oiler?
He was a cup winner. We just thought we needed to have him on. I don't know why I didn't like that.
You got him for the character and the leadership.
Well, that's because Mike Babcock will be working with the Edmonton Oilers. Not really, but wouldn't that be something?
They got Jay Woodcroft, right? It was close.
So you're confirming
close.
Luke Glendening to the Edmonton Oilers?
Speaking of Luke, while I'm here, I'm devastated that they lost Luke Richardson to the Habs. I felt I needed to say that, by the way. I'm genuinely sad that happened. Okay, I'm just trying to get the freaking roster up of for the Avs.
I have it here. I don't know if.
Okay.
If you want to I'm on Cap Friendly. I don't know if there's a different roster.
Oh, that's such a good idea. What the hell was I doing?
I'm not sure.
I was trying to find an NHL.com.
Oh,
what was I doing?
Mistake number 1.
I forgot that Cat Friendly was a thing. Because I just want to go through here. I want to go through like the abs here and look at some of the great stories. Obviously, this is a team that 5 years ago or last. The 5-year plan. Jim Benning's like, how in the world did you do it? And then
Brendan Shanahan's still trying to figure it out.
That's insane. It's insane. It's like who? So I think it's 5 guys were left from that team. So I want to say maybe Rantanen, McKinnon, because I think it was his rookie year. No, it was like his second or third year. So when Rantanen, Landeskog, McKinnon, JT Compher, and I can't remember who the 5th guy is, but there is a 5th. Eric Johnson. That's it. To those guys, Nathan McKinnon. Talk about him. I have been honking that horn for years now. And he finally gets his ring. I'm so happy for him. Is
he a top 3 guy now?
Well, is he the best player on his team?
Cale Makar has pushed him. I think he needed to be a bit more showtime because it felt like he was taking a lot of shots, but he just wasn't getting enough conversion there, and I think it sort of hurt him. But it's ridiculous. He's still sensational. It's like Draisaitl to McDavid, sort of thing that's happening with Makar. It's just he's behind the next Bobby Orr is the problem. But he's still.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's a top 5 player in the league. He's a top 5 forward in the league. Nathan McKinnon is.
I think that's fair.
Did you guys see the Cale Makar meme joke? No. So there used to be a running joke with Jason Tatum and like his potential in the NBA.
Yeah.
And then there'd be a thing where everyone says he's only 23 years old. And now everyone's using that with Cale Makar for everything he's won already. They're like, he's only 23 years old. And then it's like, yeah, he's a great player. And it's like, we have to remind people of how young he is.
Yeah.
That he's 23 years old.
In the year they finished last and lost all 3 draft lotteries, that's who they get. Of course, the famous Matthew Shannon want to play in the playoffs, got them Bowen Byram, who another great story going and overcoming the concussion problems he had this year, being a big part, especially once Sam Girard went down. I almost said Girard needs to play better. He doesn't because he was hurt. Bowen Byram stepped into that role and did great for him. And he looked great, especially against the Blues. There were some plays you were like, damn, this kid is legit. Your guy, Daniel, the man that everyone loves, Josh Manson gets his ring.
Did it.
It was really nice seeing him talk about his dad, and he had to beat him on the way there. But this is a big one. Darcy Kemper goes from the Coyotes to the Abs and wins a cup. Good for him. Good for him.
I was also shout out. I know you're going through the list.
Yep.
But I'm just going to add them together because they were in the same post. A lot of respect for the Ducks. You know, they celebrated Josh Manson and Andrew Cogliano both winning it. So I really like to see that. We
can mention him then. Andrew Cogliano, who's had the past couple of years have been kind of up and down for him because he just disappeared into San Jose for a while. He had the Iron Man streak broken, which was, obviously so difficult for him. Gets traded to the Avs this year, and you heard a lot of their players, like the Avs players, sort of talking about how big it was to get him a cup. He gets it. Pablo Francouz, backup goalie, had to come in, had to close a series. Remember,
he was better this year.
Yeah, he was better this year, especially in the playoff. Rough at times, but it's weird that he's already 32 because he's only been in the league for like 2-3 years. Jack Johnson is a Stanley Cup champion after everything that man has been through.
I know.
His parents suck, and I'm so happy that he got that last big contract in Pittsburgh that didn't work out because it was a bad contract. He comes in, plays significant time because, again, of the Girard injury, and he gets his ring. That was really nice. Curtis McDermott, who cares? But Curtis McDermott, Devin Taves, 2 second rounders, and he's not up until 2024, 2025. By the way.
Oh my God.
Oh Lou, why did you do that?
Eric Johnson, who was talking about he was close to retiring last year. Remember how he just didn't play, and it was like, are they going to get him to waive his no move clause so then they can keep a defenseman in the expansion draft? The longest tenured Av on that team, former first overall pick, gets his ring. Very happy for him. Nico Sturm. I don't know why he's the first name I went to, but Nico Sturm.
Big body guy. I liked him. Late bloomer. Wrote an article about him. Happy that he won. I know Michael Russo Also tweeted right before Game 6 that there's that opportunity for Sturm to get the ring, and I'm happy about it.
I also just wrote Kevin Fiala's name in the docs. We have to talk about that trade a little later. Valerie Nikushkin is going to get paid so much. A guy who was out the league a couple of years ago because it wasn't working in Dallas and comes back. Darren Helm, the old vet, gets it. Cogliano gets it. Burakovsky gets his ring because I always forget this. Was Burakovsky gone from Washington when they won? I want to double check this.
No, I think he won, and he was like a cap. They won in 2018.
Oh, so he does. So he's a two-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah. They trade him for cap.
Nikolai Abe-Kubel goes from the Flyers and wins a cup, which was really nice. The young man, Alex Newhook, out east, they're going nuts for him right now. JT Compher, another great guy who's up and is going to get a big contract. Two guys really left to talk about. The first one,
JT Compher's not up.
That's next year because Cap Friendly rolled over and I'm still not used to it. My apologies. That's huge for their depth though because a lot of guys are up. Yeah. Two guys left. The first one, if you think I'm a liability in the playoffs, you can kiss my ass. Nazem Kadri is a Stanley Cup champion, the first ever Muslim nationality person to ever win a Stanley Cup, fun fact. People were saying Lebanese too, but apparently Patrick Maroon's part Lebanese, which was like,
I didn't know that.
Apparently, but Nazem Kadri. Alex, you are the Leafs fan here. I don't like that they were asking him and Lehkonen about their former teams. I thought that was dumb. But obviously, the trade, people are looking at it a bit in hindsight now. But just as a Leafs fan, you love Nas. Just what's it like seeing him lift the cup?
Yeah, it was interesting. Oh man, it was absolutely beautiful. Because I think like the amount of crap he went through in the city on and off the ice, the situation I think he was brought into was not favorable at all, like not even close to favorable. And obviously the things that happened towards the back end of his career as a Leaf, say what you want. I still to this day believe that it had to be done, but that doesn't mean I did not want him to win a cup. I wish it was on the Leafs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Circumstance. Do I?
No. So yeah. Of course, you would want it to.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Like it's just the circumstances that were thrown out at the time. It's like, no, man. Like, listen, if he did it again, which he did, that's like a fireable offense.
Joe Sakic, GM, wins it. We mentioned Jared Butler, obviously. Joe Sakic, I wouldn't be surprised if he steps to the side and lets McFarland. Yeah, just so they can keep McFarland. Because that's a guy that people have been searching for. It's AGM. I forget his exact name, but something McFarland. Apparently, like they blocked him. Yeah, they blocked him from talking to teams. So I wonder if it's a McPhee situation. He just steps to the side so they can keep him. But that man, the Duchesne trade, they don't win it without him. Win the cup without that trade. And I love along the way. Obviously, they took out Duchesne. Then we talked about this. Where took out Duchesne, then took out Ryan O'Reilly, then took out David Perron. And then, it's just really funny to look. I'm trying to think who. I don't think there's like a former very famous who was on. Obviously, took out Tyson Barrie too along the way. It was really funny to look at the guys they took out. But like Joe Sakic, tremendous. And my boy, who was the last player to score 2 goals to send his team to the finals and a cup winner as well? Arturi Lehkonen, a Stanley Cup champion, baby.
He did it.
I'm so happy for him.
He avenged the Habs.
He did. You know what? I'm happy that he has that thing of he beat Tampa again. And he did it I'm so happy. I'm legit so happy he won. He deserves it. He freaking deserves it. Again, it's bittersweet. You wish it was for the Habs, but man, he deserves it. I'm really happy for that guy. His dad being like, yeah, shout out Thomas Plekanec, taught him a lot. Plekanec tweeting about it. Make me cry. Don't freaking draft Slavkovsky. Make me cry again. The tears of sadness. We'll talk about that later. Thanks, Bob McKenzie. Anyway, a few little stats here too.
Wait. Do you know who was the Colorado Avalanche? I got it.
On
the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah.
Oh, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Yep.
I don't. Sure.
I'm missing
In case
someone?
you're curious. No, that was it. That was it.
Oh, okay.
And someone else actually for a whopping 12 games. This one's going to be a reference.
Not Ruta, right?
No.
Who?
Wait,
no, not Logan O'Connor.
Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
He was in a
Yeah, he was traded by the Sens for Craig Anderson.
That's a trade tree I'd like to see one day. Steve Dangle, get on it, buddy. I know it's your summer now, but I don't care. Please. I'm kidding, Steve. Love you. What's next for the Tampa Bay Lightning here? First off, Patrick Maroon loses a playoff series for the first time since 2018. So I cannot make the case that he is a Hall of Famer above John Tavares.
Pre-pandemic, man.
Corey Perry loses 3 straight finals.
But that's okay because we only look at 07 because Ducks fly together.
Exactly. At least he has a cup, but his kid was crying. Poor kid was crying. The wife was crying. I felt so bad for it. Seeing it 3 straight. Poor Corey Perry. But we'll look at the Tampa Bay Lightning here. These are the guys that are up. Riley Nash. You guys, when you guys were talking about Riley Nash, I was shocked. I'm like, how?
So was I. I was just as shocked as you. To be
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Nick Paul, who Cash only has is Nicholas Paul, and Jan Ruta, and then Brian Elliott. But who cares about Brian Elliott? They have some questions. They have the LTI room of Brent Seabrook to sort of help, but I mean, Nick Paul and Andre Palat were 2 important players. 31 and 27. I didn't know Palat was already 31, but those are the big ones. There's questions there. And by the way, they have their first.
Yeah, they kept it.
Guess who? Daniel, we're going to boo them at the draft. Booing Junior. Yeah, we are.
All right.
We don't have a first for 23-24. Don't have the second for the next 2 years. Don't have their third and fourth.
Well, step number 1 is to get healthy.
Yes.
That's an obvious. That's an obvious step 1. Because step 2 is like, okay, let's do what we've done the last 3 years, which was essentially fill in the pieces. Because please, let's not go through another summer of, is Stamkos gone? Is Kucherov gone? Like, we're not going to do that again, are we?
Alex Kalorin is gone.
Sure. Discussion. And we've had that discussion, and that's probably more plausible than the first 2 I mentioned. But for the most part, these guys are coming back. There's not going to be major surgery that's going to be done to this team.
Just the individuals.
Just the individuals, yeah.
No, legit, because they're going to be rough to start because they're probably going to have to get healthy. The Bruins are going to need to get healthy. Who knows with Panthers? The Leafs are in position to get that home ice advantage. They're pretty good just to win the division next year. I'm just saying. Daniel.
So I just want to say that those 2 first-round picks are both top 10 protected. So I'm just saying they could do the thing. They could do the thing and then just come back even better the year after.
I love Golden State Warriors.
Right, exactly.
They had all those lottery picks for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Steven Stamkos said it's who said we're finished. I think he still has that idea that if they get healthy, they still have that great core. We've seen it before that they've been able to supplement the depth. They're not going to have the same draft capital this time to do those types of deals, but I don't know, there's potential there for them to see what they actually have. And if you give someone minutes, what's going to happen? Maybe Mikhail Sergachev makes another push in his development. Still a young guy. Cal Foote never really got a chance until this year. Maybe he'll become something.
Probably wants to play more.
Ross Colton wants to play more. I think they're still going to be good, but I just don't think that shine is going to be there the same way. I really still think that they're going to make it to the playoffs, but I wouldn't be shocked if they, they get bounced in a in the second round or a very contested first round.
Here's the thing: is they're going to have a punching bag of Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa, and Montreal for 82 games next year. Or then obviously it's not 82 combined, but those are. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Or who knows, Detroit? But you never. They're so going to get Frank Nazar at the draft, and it's going to make me really mad.
The Leafs are going to finish first in the division and then still have to play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the playoffs.
They're going to get the wild.
I want to run my head through a wall at that point. Like honestly,
the Avs, by the way, don't have any second rounders for next year using. They don't have this first rounder, but they have their first rounder next year and in 2024. So they have, they still have bullets to fire. And
I also like to mention with the Avs as well, just the draft capital they've had in recent years. I've mentioned it before. If guys leave, they're going to give guys opportunities to do something. So we saw Alex Newhook take the next step. And then they still have Shane Bowers could still be a top 9 guy. They still have Martin Kaut, who hasn't really gotten a lot of minutes.
Lekkonen's an RFA.
Yeah. So there's a lot of possibilities for the Avs to pull another Lightning maybe and just run it back.
And the core's locked up.
Yeah.
The core's locked up, which is all you need.
Get ready. And when's free agency? July 13th?
I think so, yes.
In 15 days, Nathan McKinnon extension.
I think
just a guess.
No, I would hope that they're getting that done very quickly. I wanted to just mention a few more things before we move on to all the news around the NHL. Okay. I just wanted to say a little bit about this. Listen, after Game 5 and that too many men mess, was John Cooper emotional? Yes. Yeah, he was. Because that thing of when he mentioned the cap, I took that as, okay, he wants the Yanni Gourde that line back right now. And because obviously Tampa were getting circle skated around them in that overtime. That's what. But everyone's saying that he's a class act and this great guy. I'll remind you it was game 4 that he had the fit. And then in game 5, to start game 5, the first 10 minutes, the Avs took 2 penalties. He may be a great guy, but everyone going out there and be like, oh, just what a great guy. Dude, he played the refs like fiddles. Tampa got every call the rest of the series. It was like Picasso. It was like watching someone paint in real time. But I was like, guys, let's just relax here.
But I do have a whole problem. I do have a genuine problem with how people were acting, though. And I'll put it like this: from rounds 1 to 3, it was bad reffing, right? Rounds 1 to 4. No. Wait. Rounds 1 to 3, it was bad reffing, right?
Yep.
Round 4, what was it?
It was worse.
The Tampa Bay Lightning. No, but again, it goes back to it was the Tampa. I'm dead serious. I sarcastically tweeted that, but sorry, just because they're winners doesn't make it their fault. I'm sorry that the last 2 years, my team included, are all losers. But just because they're winners doesn't mean they can't complain. I agree with the point you're making, and I know you're not making that point. I know you're not making this point. I'm just saying, I see a lot of people out there yap it off. It's like, no. They have just as much a right to complain as everyone else, because 82 game regular season and 4 rounds deep, the refereeing in this league has been grade A garbage. So I don't get it. It's not the Tampa. Again, same with the cap. It's not the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's the freaking league. I don't know why that's so difficult. That's
why I was like, it's emotion there, because hearing John Cooper in a full set of mind would never dare complain about the cap because of what Julian Breezebot did to it last year.
Right.
It was like he was a clown and the calorie cap was a balloon animal and he was twisting, doing all these different shapes. I compare it to, remember the playoff series between the Islanders and the Bruins, and Cassidy lost
last
it.
Year?
I want to think it was last year.
Yeah.
And Cassidy lost it and he got fined. Barry Trotz was like, the refs are doing their job. They're trying their best. And everything went the Islanders' way because Barry knew how to play them.
Barry's the biggest troll with that.
It's so Big Barry's the best word. What a shame that he blue balled the Jets like that, by the way. Poor Jets. But, it was just a thing of like, it was just like, people, come on. Like
why can't we have the conversation about the referees? Did we not like?
Why are their feelings getting hurt by coaches? Do your job.
Also, why are they playing? Why is their who they play poker with affecting who they're?
That's not being talked about. Who is that? Tim Peel? That wasn't.
Yeah.
Who else would it be? Adam?
Yeah, he was the one playing.
Who else would it be?
Yeah, he was talking about playing like poker with former players. Like they have those nights.
If you're able to do that and then not let that influence your job, sure. Go ahead and do it. I couldn't care less.
Hey,
but when it affects how you do your job, pardon?
If you lose this hand, you got to call a trip on the other team tomorrow night, Tim. What are we doing? I'll raise you a double minor. What an awful league.
I can't believe no one's talking. Like no one has whatever.
This is a big thing right now, just not the NHL, like in sports in general. Like if you've been seeing the highlights recently in baseball of the way umpires have been calling things. And then I just remember the collective bargaining agreement, the Players Association asked for robo umpires and it was like flatly rejected like right away. And then also in basketball too, it's just, basketball's always had that history of things.
Refs doing video things on social media, like I'm doing the game. Yeah, Will sent me that. Yeah, but no, they were bad. They were bad the whole playoffs. It was just like last year. Remember when I was having a meltdown from Chris Lee? That's what was happening with Kelly Sutherland this year and Wes McCauley. It's a shame that is the best the league has.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's just so. Before we go off of the playoffs here, guys, I just want to ask, what are some of the moments you're going to remember? Because I think we had a damn good playoffs this year. I think we had a damn good one.
Specific moments or general?
Yeah, just whatever is coming to mind, what you like.
I think there's two big ones for me. Overall, that first round was just crazy. I think there was a lot of good matchups and like just there weren't necessarily a lot of huge upsets. Maybe there was the St. Louis.
Yeah, I was about to say, Alex, don't remind me of Minnesota.
Even New York, and that's my second one, is New York's run to the conference final.
Yeah.
Just a very unexpected, and they played with house money, and they absolutely. And I don't think they thought they were playing with house money, but they did it damn well. So those two, I think, are the storylines for me these playoffs.
Daniel.
For me, I think it's just two moments. I think in the St. Louis series, I think Kadri's hat trick was huge for me to see, especially the way that coverage went after it. I like that there was a lot of positivity towards it after the initial obvious hockey culture stuff came out, what you would expect from fans we do not endorse for the game. And I think the second thing for me was just the buildup of Andre versus Igor.
Yeah.
Towards that conference finals where they are super competitive guys and they're just complimenting each other in a way. But like once the game starts, just they were great, like end to end.
So we're definitely going to forget some stuff because I think back to how long ago the first round feels. It feels like forever ago.
A month and a half.
I have it's that only that long.
I think so.
I have 3 moments, and 2 of them are just ridiculously funny to me. I'm sorry, Alex. Respecting the handshake line, because it was like for Leafs fans, they can take sort of like everyone knows what Sheldon meant, but the memes were so good.
That's because Luke Fox didn't actually put the entire quote, but we won't.
I know. Yeah, I remember.
We won't talk about that.
He did him so dirty.
Okay.
But second that, one even worse. The 132-foot goal that Mike Smith allowed, and he blamed the defenseman. the lack of goaltending in the Battle of Alberta was ridiculous.
The Battle of Alberta. It was none of us mentioned that.
Will's meltdown, but my favorite moment, and this is a serious one.
Yeah.
The coming out party of Jake Ottinger and that Game 7 performance. Carey Price was reveling of how one goalie can put the team on his back and somehow still lose because they can't score. I mean, what a performance! Absolutely loved it. But yeah, there are so many great moments from these playoffs. Wayne Gretzky having the first round done on his bracket and getting every single series wrong after that. The Blues, Wayne? The Blues? No, he had Carolina beating the Blues, didn't he? I can't remember. But I think his final was Carolina and the Blues.
It's just funny. He chose Calgary over Edmonton. That's the one that made me laugh.
And he was wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just trying to think. I think those are some of the more fun moments. I can't remember everything. It's so difficult. The Panthers, people saying they went to a strip club in the middle of the playoffs. Never confirmed, but I'm gonna laugh about that for the rest of my life. Sorry, Baumgartner, love you, man. Beside that, yeah, I think that's everything for the playoffs. Until next year, we missed you. Always nice to see the cup around.
Is there a closing song? I don't know. I always think of that. What's the closing song this year?
What's the song for Colorado's? What is it? Shining. What's it called again?
All the Small Things?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's that.
Okay.
Not even close. Okay. Like the same with like when the Blues won, it was Gloria. It's that. 100%.
There was because I used to love watching it. I've sent a few of them to you guys, but Hockey Night in Canada doesn't have those montages anymore, right? Of the playoffs.
I don't know as good as. No, I shouldn't say that. I don't know.
Because I remember I used to love rewatching a lot of those, and they used a lot of songs.
I stopped watching the pre-show when they were reviewing the Leafs loss before the Rangers Pens. And I was like, okay, that's what we're doing.
The disc or am I thinking of something else?
What?
Daniel, the disc, because didn't they used to do that where they literally do? No, okay.
No, it was more of like it was just kind of like, oh, here's all the main stuff of this year's playoffs, and then
they do that.
They don't do that. Okay, those were fun. So. I'll just watch the old ones. It's okay.
Only if a Canadian team does it.
They did one for the Blackhawks in like 2013, and then I think they did one for. I don't even like. Yeah, like they did recent ones, so I'll find them.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. I wanted just quickly a few things to do with the Hockey Canada. I don't know what to call it, but everything to do with that. A few companies have started, and pretty big names have started pulling support. Tim Hortons have, Scotiabank, who just have their fingers in everything hockey. Canadian Tire, TELUS. I just wanted to mention that it feels like there's a lot of pressure coming from the sort of world of Canada. Like Tim Hortons, Canadian Tire, I don't think I can think of many more. Scotiabank, the many bases of this country than coming about right now. But I just thought we could quickly mention that. I just wanted to just throw that nugget out there. We're still kind of waiting for more of the stuff coming out. There are little details about that, but once the next sort of big chapter happens, we're going to talk about it. Again, Emily Sadler, Dan Robson, Katie Strang, Rick Westhead, all great follows, and always give the little sort of bits of details about it. Also, I forgot to mention this line of stats I wanted to mention for the Avs. Sorry to go back to it after what I just mentioned, but I wanted to mention it because it's really important. The Avs 16-4 record, 2 sweeps, the sixth Stanley Cup team with 4 fewer losses since '87, 4 championship team to never face a series deficit, had a multi-goal lead in each of its 4 postseason series, 10 comeback wins. That's the most all-time with the 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. So that's how good the Avs were. But some sort of funny stories here I wanted to mention. First off, Alex Lyon. For those of you who don't remember, that's the guy in the AHL who used to be for Lehigh and had like that 73 thing game. So him and the Chicago Wolves obviously won the American League. He won the Calder Cup Finals in Game 5. And in the post game, when he's doing the picture, he does the double bird flip to the camera. And as a result, he has been suspended for 2 games. So he will miss the first 2 games next year. And I love the reply to this saying, worth it.
For sure.
Why would you give him 2 games? Remember, who's that MLB player who was just like, forget COVID, I'm going to go celebrate with the boys? What are we doing? What did he get? But you flip the bird off after winning and you get 2 games? Why?
I remember Patrick
Because
Waugh's
hockey
son
has to
did that.
be prim and proper.
I mean, to be fair, Patrick Waugh's son's got in a lot of trouble. To be fair,
He did it on the Mooseheads. I remember.
I didn't never. Did he get suspended?
Yeah. he
No,
got
probably.
fined.
Oh, he only fined. Well, I wonder why
Yeah.
he was only fined and not suspended. Probably because it's. No, I'm not going to say it.
Probably because his dad.
Nepotism. Indeed. But I thought that was a really fun thing to mention. I don't think it's official yet, but I wanted to mention that it was going around. I saw this from Sabres Noise on Twitter that the Sabres are expected to name Kyle Okposo their next captain.
Oh.
I wanted to mention this because, man, it is nice that I think he had a 20-goal year this season. I just wanted to be like, it's cool that guy has gotten his career back. Like, what a comeback story. I don't know if he was a Masterton guy. I would assume he probably was, or he has been for a couple of years. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to a stick tap, some might say, to Mr. Kyle Okposo. Good for him. Very good.
I think for me that's a good way to see it. That it's the I know he wasn't drafted, he was with the Islanders, but it's like the resident veteran there that kind of just stuck to it with what the Sabres are trying to do with that a Jack Eichel there that a lot of the guys are doing well. And I thought they were going to go the long route again, try to add maybe a young guy getting it this time. Maybe I was thinking of Tage Thompson, maybe.
Young guy again?
Maybe,
but
I think
worked so well for them the first time around.
Jeff Skinner.
I think the Sabres are doing it in a good way, that they are adding that veteran voice there, and thinking about what the transitions are going to look like and who's going to get it in the long term. So I like this.
Good. Anything to add, Alex, or shall we move on to the Hall of Fame?
No, we can move on. I just repeat what you guys said.
So your Hall of Fame class of 2022 for the Hockey Hall of Fame, obviously. A few good names in here, and a few, and to be honest, it's weird because I can't complain about anyone in this class, but I still feel like we're missing a lot of people. We're going to talk about it. But here is the Hall of Fame class. The whole of Ottawa can calm down because Daniel Alfredsson is finally getting in. It's over.
Pardon?
Ian Mendes.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to compare Matt Sundin and Daniel Alfredsson anymore.
Maybe the greatest senator of all time, him or Erik Karlsson, or Danny All-Star, and Jason Spezza. Maybe Loki had some damn good players.
They did
have.
Herb Carnegie, who's probably the best black player to have never played in the NHL. Roberto Luongo. Lou, like the fourth winningest goalie ever. If he's a first ballot, if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, Carey Price better be. I'm going to go complain and protest outside the Hockey Hall of Fame. Where's his MVP?
But wait a second. Are you going to blame Toronto?
No.
Yes.
Wait, because Lou doesn't have a Vezina either.
Okay.
He doesn't. Exactly. Where's his Lou Marsh? Anyway, it's Luongo. He deserves it. I know I'm going to say this wrong. Rika Salinen, who is the first non-North American woman in the Hall of Fame, one of, I believe it's Finland's best players ever. I'm surprised I've never heard her name, to be honest, but it's nice to see some, not just, we need the women in there, even though I think there are some females that they are not putting in there that you need to put in there, especially a certain French Canadian who I'm going to mention a little later, and a lot of people have been mentioning.
She's one of the most highly decorated players to have ever competed in international ice hockey.
I think her medal count's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that not only is women's hockey never getting respect, but the overseas players, Finland especially, even today have some of the best players in the league, and they never really talk about them.
She has 3 golds in the European Championship. She has 2 bronze at the Olympics, one in 98, and then another one in 2018.
What?
Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3, 6 world championship bronze medals, and then a silver in 2019 in the world championship.
That means for those years, they would have beaten out both the States and Canada for the women's hockey team, which is obviously insane. And finally, I think probably the headliners. And thank goodness that they got this right and put the Sedins together. Because if you had put them in separately, Like, why? But the Sedins are in. I think they were all very deserving of the Hall. But you know what we have to talk about, guys? It's the snubs. Who did not make it? I have one name that I think it's unacceptable why this player is not in the Hall of Fame. And it is their first year of eligibility, funny enough. An Olympic gold medalist. Multiple time Stanley Cup champion. Chris Kunitz was robbed this year.
Oh my God.
It's his first year of eligibility, and he was not put in. I want some respect. The man who got the Penguins to the finals in 2017. You thought I'd forget, but no, Chris Kunitz should be in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, no, seriously, Alex McGillney should be in the Hall of Fame. Let's be honest here.
Should be. That one still bothers me because like when I started watching hockey, like it was at the tail end, but like that was a guy I knew on the Leafs. And man, it's just weird that he's not there. It's like he, for me, is, we talk about, like, I know he was never considered the best of the best. At least maybe in Russia he was, or Soviet Union, sorry.
I didn't know he was in the Hall of Fame. Why is McGillney not?
But he was like one of the forerunners of the guys who first defected to North America. Mm-hmm. Like that says something. And he continued to dominate the league. He has a cup.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
You can't use the Russia this year excuse too, because he's been eligible forever.
Yeah.
Alex, are you ready to talk about Chris Kunitz?
No, I'm not ready to talk about Chris Kunitz. I'm not entertaining that conversation. Is what I'm doing.
He made the Olympic team over prime Claude Giroux.
Did. I'm not talking about Chris Kunitz.
Steven Stamkos.
I'm ready to talk about. I'll talk about.
I just like to say he made the team. I know it's all about fit, and they always talk about that, but he made the team before Martin St. Louis.
Hockey Hall of Famer and an MVP. Yeah, we'll talk about McGillney or anyone else they missed. I have a list of people we can get to in a second. But for anyone who doesn't know, for years I've been egging Alex on about how jokingly Chris Kunitz is a Hall of Famer above John Tavares, but it's a joke.
I honestly forgot about that.
Right. Who are the other? Like we could talk about like maybe one or two more. Who are the other ones?
So here I've got a few. These are the ones that were for noticeable first year eligible.
Wait, sorry. Did we talk about the Sedins? Or did I completely?
You know they were drafted by Brian Burke.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned like, yeah, it's good that you meant the Sedins and you should not have put them in separately. So it's good.
Okay, sorry. I must have just zoned out for a second. I was thinking about Chris Kunitz.
It's fine.
That's the Chris Kunitz effect. It just
you
stays
you didn't think I was going there, did you, Alex? You didn't know he was eligible.
I did.
So here are the guys, and we'll get to the ones who already aren't there, but here are the guys that were first year eligible. Jason Chimera, I don't really think he should be in that. Matt Cullen shouldn't be. Scott Hartnell, Mike Fisher, Brian Giunta, Chris Kunitz. Rick Nash, maybe one day.
Maybe.
Here's the one that bothers me, Caroline Ouellette, who is a really freaking damn good French-Canadian hockey player. I'm pretty sure spent some time before it closed down at the CWHL playing for Les Canadiens. A lot of people have been campaigning. She should freaking be in there. Brooks Orpik. It's like, why? Dion Phaneuf is eligible.
No.
Jason Pominville, the Habs killer. Matt Stajan. Thomas Vanek. Antoine Vermette. Radim Verbata. And I think of all these guys, beside Caroline Ouellette, it was a woman. Sorry. I think this guy here, above all these guys should probably get in. Henrik Zetterberg is eligible.
Oh, yeah. Really? He was not first ballot?
I guess not. I know. I'm shocked.
That's surprised. I was shocked. Like, I guess Rick Nash will probably make it eventually, maybe. But, like, I'd put Zetterberg over him.
I would, too. Zetterberg's incredible. It's this is from Sportsnet. I got found on Instagram, so I don't know if maybe they're wrong, but Zetterberg should be in there. Very much should be. So here are the notable non-honored members. The first one that stood out to me was Jennifer Bottrell. I was thinking, yeah, she should probably be in there. I won't go through all of them because I haven't heard of all of them before. Keith Kachuk, I did not know was not a Hall of Famer. Pierre Turgeon, the man we always talk about, Pat Verbeek, Doug Waite, Ray Whitney, Ron Hextall. That always surprises me.
Oh, I have sorry, before we move on and we talk about Ron Hextall, but I remember I told you that stat of the 1991 draft, the Lindros draft.
Remind me?
Ray Whitney has the most points in that draft.
Because Forsberg got hurt and Lindros. No, Forsberg, he was the same. And then him and
then the other top pick was like Scott Niedermayer. So
not bad. That's a good draft. Mike Vernon's in there. Chris Osgood should not be in the Hall of Fame. Don't get it.
He's a multiple cup winner.
No, he shouldn't be in there. Like Kevin Lowe shouldn't be in there. Vincent LeCavalier. McGillney's the big one. Owen Nolan is always a weird one. Jeremy Roenick, but I don't think he's gonna get in this. I don't think he's gonna get in.
No, he won't.
I don't think he should be. Dale Hunter, Sergei Gonchar. I think that's
he might. I think
Theo Fleury, Vincent Donfus. I don't think should be in there. Peter Bondra. Well, that's one that people have been going on for a while.
Yeah, that one. He was dominant for a while. There's
two big ones I want to mention to you guys. The first one. I don't get how this guy's not in yet. And he's been around for a while now, eligible. That's Patrick Eliage. I do not understand how he's not in yet.
This guy was a point per game player
for the Devils.
For the Devils during their trap system era.
How is Eliage not in the Hall of Fame? Wow. And he might be like the first guy to make it in eventually, and no one knows what he sounds like. And the other one, and I think of the Athletic, I can't remember her name. I've talked about her before. She's a great writer. I can't remember her name. Covers the Hurricanes for the Athletic. Sarah Sibian. Was very, how do I put this? Was making a big case for Rod Brind'Amour. He should be in, but I don't like how she was like, he has more stats than the Sedins. It's like. And she was saying, I'm not saying the Sedins shouldn't be in there, but like the Sedins are different because we have never had twins be dominant and the face of a franchise like them. But it is a bit silly, and I think he's behind McGillney, to be honest. Like in terms of being over.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but like. Brind'Amour not being in there, and Brind'Amour had a better career than you might think, like over 1,000. I think it's like over 400 goals. He's got a cup. I think he's got a Selke in there too. It's another weird one. Like, how is he not in? Like, it's been notoriously like catty at times with the NHL. What's not with the Hall of Fame committee, but like, how are they not in? Like, and what feathers has Rod Brind'Amour ruffled?
I think. And I know this is just an opinion. It's probably not right, but it's just what I'm thinking. Because a lot of the names you did bring up, with the exception of McGillney, these guys were never the best players on their team, even when they were doing well.
I'm just trying to think. Well, who was? Oh, never mind. It was. Well,
like Brind'Amour played a lot with Eric Lindros.
Yeah, he did.
And then on Carolina,
I don't think that's a precursor to getting into the.
I don't know because
Hall
like when
Fame, like let's go back to the '80s Oilers. None of them were the best player on the team except one, right?
I don't know. It's just the way I feel like, for example, like I love Patrick Elias. Like I'm a big fan of him. I got to see him play growing up, and as much as I love him, I don't remember him as the guy on those Devils teams. But I'm saying like maybe like I'm not saying that's the right perception. I'm just saying like. Is that something they think about when they make these selections?
It shouldn't be. The guy's 400 goals, 1,000 points, and 1,200 games played, including 120 points in 160 playoff games. Like he's a sensational player. I remember like Eliage when I really got into hockey. I remember it wasn't long until he was gone, and I don't like these not there. I don't like it. But like, listen, I don't know who's going to be coming up, but. Like, there's no excuse for a lot of the people on that list. There's just not. I wonder if I'm assuming that. I wonder if Carnegie's part of Builder. Unless I missed it, I don't think they're because I think these are the only nominees. But I know he's a player. But maybe they're going for sort of the same sort of thing they did with Willie O'Ree. Like, how is what bothers me is I'm still thinking like Holland got in the Hall of Fame, Rutherford got in the Hall of Fame, and Bettman got in the Hall of Fame before these guys. I'm like, and all of those guys are still employed. Like, what are we doing? I'm bothered by a lot of that. And again, there were other names I didn't mention in there, but I don't know about that. Because we're going to also what's going to suck is some guys are going to be pushed back because I wonder if LTIR is going to stop like a Weber from going in, or like some of those guys who just sort of got banished. But we'll see.
That's why Henrik Zetterberg didn't get selected, because he was on LTIR.
Maybe, but I mean,
which would be quite dumb, but wouldn't put it past him. Herb Carnegie was builder, by the way.
Okay, that's good. That's the right decision. Speaking of dumb, by the way, not the Carnegie thing, but the Hockey Hall of Fame being dumb. Speaking of dumb, the Bruins extended Don Sweeney very quietly and very under the radar, like in the middle of the finals. And I don't think Bruins fans are very happy with it, especially since they wanted young guys to play. And right now, David Quinn's one of the front runners for the job. The coach. I think they said Montgomery was in there, but I would go with Montgomery over David Quinn. I don't know. I'll go David.
They're trying to run it
like
back.
There's other coaches I would go with over both of them. Okay.
Over Montgomery?
Yeah.
Like who?
I don't know.
Not Gerard Gallant.
Not Gerard. Not Gerard. Sorry, I don't mean I don't know. Like I would. To me, I would look at Rick Tocchet. But
see, I've never bought him. I don't know. That's just a me thing. I've never bought up to his hype. That, and he's decent on TNT. So
I mean, like, listen, he wasn't really given a great situation in Arizona. Like, it was not a good situation, and I think I would like to see what he does here. It would be interesting for sure. Like, he was a final. Was he not a finalist for the Rangers?
I think I know he was in the mix. I don't remember if he was a finalist, but yeah. Want to talk about Kevin Fiala?
Yeah, right. It's sure. I guess so. If we have to,
I'm gonna miss him.
So the Minnesota Wild have traded Kevin Fiala, who is a year away from UFA. He was an RFA in a few weeks, but they've solved it. They can't afford to keep him because the buyouts are kicking in. And the guys to jump on it were the LA Kings. They're going to send the 19th overall pick in a few days, as well as defensive prospect Brock Faber, who I believe is the captain at Minnesota in the NCAA.
Yeah.
So just some bit of context here. I was looking at some stuff. Jay Fresh sort of talked about and had his player cards up, talking about a lack of production in his +1 and +2 years, but having good, great defensive plays. And another really good follow by the name of David St. Louis, who does stuff for Elite Prospects, did say Brock Faber has always been much better than his numbers suggest. His skating, rush defense, and motor will make him an NHLer, and his puck moving ability could turn him into a top 4 defenseman down the line. I personally believe. Oh, and then obviously Kevin Fiala goes and signs an 8-year deal that is just under 7. Oh yeah, because he's not eligible with the other team. At just under $8 million. And obviously Kevin Fiala, tremendous scorer, especially 5-on-5, huge for the Kings who need a bit more goal scoring and don't give up any of their super duper nice prospects. Guys, I don't know about you, but I think that the position that that Minnesota were in, I think they did well with the situation that Bill Guerin put himself in. It's a bit of an underwhelming return in my opinion, but really? It's just because I don't think you can just give away a top line scorer who scored like 85 points this year. But I get it because everyone knew they had to get rid of him. Yeah,
they did. But I like Bill Guerin put himself. I don't know if I necessarily agree with Bill Guerin put himself in what position, in that he had to trade him or that he wouldn't sign. Because I don't think, like last year before the Suter and Parise buyouts, were there not And they were rumors at the time. Are they true? I mean, it sure as hell seems like it. That they couldn't agree on a contract, right?
Just
He was
the
an RFA
overall-
last year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I mean, just
he's
the
in a
cap
crappy
squeeze
pit. Pardon?
Yeah. I mean, just the cap squeeze overall.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a true situation. I don't think anyone saw that being a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember last summer, Michael Russo was talking about how the negotiations were going. It went on for quite a bit. And he also did mention that they just couldn't agree on a number. And basically what they ended up giving him was, and he called it, you're just kicking the can down the road. That they wanted to see what they were going to do this year and then solve everything after. It led to this. I think that the way Fiala really kind of responded to this show me type of contract was he did what was best for him. He's 26. He gets what he wanted, that long-term deal. He gets the cap hit he wants. And, like we talked about it, I think Minnesota did what they could. I mentioned in our chat that I thought they were just going to get a second here because their hands were tied, but they got something decent. It's solid for what they want to do for the system. I think it's just for the players they have and what they're trying to do. I thought they would be over to this in a way that, okay, great. We have these guys, but realistically, we're not going to see either of those two pieces for a while. Is that going to be enough to convince the core I have right now that we can still do something? Because right now, I think I love what they've been doing the last 2 years, but it's still kind of something like we have Kirill Kaprizov, but everything else is like, let's try to surprise people and go on a run. Let's not, like, I just don't feel like they're just building the same way anymore. And I know because of the cap.
Do you want Christian Dvorak? I will still offer him to you. Please and thank you.
Adam, what do you think? What more do you think they could have gotten for Kevin Fiala?
He's a guy capable of 30 goals, nearly 90 points. I would have liked to have seen more towards the top 10 or maybe even a better level prospect. Like, if, for example, could you not have tried to squeeze Ottawa for more? Because Friedman was talking about maybe they were in on it, or it sounded apparently the Islanders didn't even make an offer. Like, I just think, a player of that level, I just thought you could have tried to get more. It's just that is listen, especially the Kings needed a player like this, right? This tremendous scorer, especially at even strength. Like, first off, I think we can agree, like, home run for the Kings here, tremendous.
Oh yeah,
he's in his prime.
I would have liked to have seen if you couldn't get a closer, because obviously this time of the year it isn't just first, it's draft over, right? I would have liked to have seen him at least get into that range to try and get one of those prospects, or at least get a more solidified guy that doesn't have people debating where exactly he is. Because I think Kevin Fiala is instantly a core member, and he was one of the most important members of the Wild. I mean, ignoring his disappearing act in the playoffs. But that's the kind of return I would have liked to have seen. But if it wasn't there, then
just like to point out too, he got his 80+ points without a real top line center, and then he goes to LA now where they have a lot of centers.
But wait. But who was the other way? What? Sorry, because I don't remember. Is he on the Kaprizov line, or
he goes like here and there? Like he went back and forth. So like Ryan Hartman was the first line center for quite a while.
Right. No, that was brutal.
Play with Dano or Kopitar. What are we doing?
Or Byfield or Turpin.
Yeah.
So gross. That's so. And Arvid, they got Arvidsson for like what, a second and a third.
A second and third, yeah.
Rob Blake's doing quiet work, just using your cap space and your draft capital. Ha! Bergevin's like, I didn't know you could do this. As he's sitting beside him, this is amazing. How have you done that?
I did say I would have to do it, Adam, but this is the Bergevin effect right here.
What a goof. The Kings have made more impactful moves in the last year with Bergeron around than he did in 10 years in Montreal. What a disgusting. I was thinking if we would have enough time, we could look at this offer sheet stuff that Sarah Valley put in, but I don't think there's a point anymore.
Yeah, because no one's going to do it. So
I wish somebody do it to Andre. That'd be so funny. Starting with the Leafs, Timothy Liljegren has been extended. new contract, not extended technically. 2 years, $1.4 million cap hit per. So the bottom pair is a combination of $2.2 million against the cap this year and next between Timothy Liljegren and Mark Giordano.
Is that how much Justin Hall's making per year?
No, that's how much Mark Giordano's making. Mark Giordano's making $7. How much is Mark Giordano making? As you can tell, I'm clearly thinking.
No, he's making like 900. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was mentioning Justin Hall. Doesn't he make like 2.2 million a year?
He makes $2 million.
Okay.
But he's not on the bottom pair. He's on the top four.
That's funny. But that's tidy business to do this. That's very tidy business.
No, Adam, it's not tidy business, okay? He's not allowed to do good things.
Yeah, Timothy Liljegren's supposed to be a star already.
He's no. Kyle Dubas is not allowed to do good things. Haven't you heard?
I'll consider him GM of the year if he signs a contract he doesn't have to cap dump away by the end of next year.
Okay.
Man, I saw the betting odds. Okay, we can do it. I saw the betting odds had them at like third best chance to win the cup.
I wanted to run my head through a wall.
Okay.
I love seeing that.
Run my head through a wall. It's June 29th.
The cup was awarded like 3 days ago.
They were the Leafs were trending on Twitter yesterday. Screw off, everybody.
How much are you putting on them, Alex, at this point?
0. I don't want to think of it's June 29th. They haven't done anything.
What do you think of Liljegren?
Oh, I like him. Great signing. I think he took many steps, not a single step. He took multiple steps. Okay. This year. So
offseason cheerleader coming soon.
Wait a minute, Alex. So you're telling me it takes longer for some defensive prospects to pan out than others?
Correct.
Oh my God.
Correct. Especially ones who fall in the draft. It's crazy. Yeah, no. And again, like I think playing next to Mark Giordano for him is going to it's going to do him wonders. Like it's going to literally do whoever plays next to Mark Giordano wonders. I think that's kind of what the expectation here is at this point in Mark Giordano's career. Plus he wants to be here, which is awesome. But with Timothy Liljegren, the one thing I wish, and not that I wish, that he needs to, I think, take more steps forward in is being aggressive in front of the net. I think that's what killed him. I honestly think that's why he was scratched in the latter half of the Tampa Bay Lightning series. If he can be more aggressive in front of the net, that's what I'd like. Obviously improve everywhere else, but I think that was a big thing for him this year.
Alex?
I just went.
You just went.
No. I was doing a dramatic pause.
Oh, sorry.
As they did in Futurama. Dramatic.
Sorry.
Anyway, great episode.
Adam.
Did I miss it or did you guys look at Mikheyev replacements?
We did not.
Okay, so I thought I was going grass where I did listen to the whole episode because I'm going to ask you here that. Okay. Mikheyev replacements. Where are we thinking?
Andre Palat.
Well, I wanted to throw something around here because this is a guy who I want to double check.
If it's Christian Dvorak, I'm going to leave this call.
No, it's not Christian
Dvorak. You did it with me. Listen.
He's an upgrade on David Camp. You know that.
Is it Mike Hoffman?
By skill, yes. But by fit, I'm more than content with Mike. With David Camp. Right
no, it's not a Hab. I love how instinctively I didn't want to Habs on Cap. Really, no, it's not. It's
okay, but you do understand why we thought it was a Hap, right?
It's not Chris. No, don't worry about it.
Not that you spent the last 4 months asking me about Ben Sherrod. But
this is a guy that they've. Hey, listen, we got the unprotected first round pick from Florida.
Fair.
My job is done. When Curtis is coming on and he's apologizing, I'm going to get the audio queued up and everything. You're crazy, Adam. You're crazy. So this is a guy who has 1 year left on his contract at $3.6 million. So not the stupid amount that Mikheyev is going to ask in free agency, but a guy that we know for a fact, and Alex, you know this, and Daniel very well actually about this player, has expressed interest about maybe testing free agency, so maybe this team will be inclined to move him. Familiar with the team, maybe they bring back Connor Brown.
Oh,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Just thought about it off the top of my head.
He was sad to leave
Yeah, exactly.
the first time.
He was.
So, maybe.
What's the cost?
I can't imagine it's a ton.
I don't know about that.
But if you're the Leafs next year, you have to, no sugarcoating it, you have to win next year. And,
Adam, we said that
year
like the last 3 years.
Yeah, but now it's no more. Now it's no more. They got the respect in the handshake. No, they have to.
Come on.
Otherwise, I'm coming on this podcast. I am ripping Kyle Dubas a new one if they don't win it next year. Otherwise, no, they have to win next year. Otherwise, if you are a Leafs fan and they don't win around next year, and you're like, okay, cool, we can keep going. Go to a mental hospital. You're insane. Okay, but if we're just. Where is I going with this? So they next year. I mean, if you would the Senate? No, I'm just throwing crap around. 2/3 for Connor Brown. I'm sure you can work a deal out with them, and it shouldn't be too complicated. But I'm just thinking. I'm throwing names out there. I
think they really like Connor Brown. Every time I go on Twitter and send stuff pops up, it's automatically Connor Brown stuff. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be...
What happens with every senator that the fans love, though. They all get traded or leave.
That's fair. That's fair. I would love it because, again, you put Connor Brown on the second line, and you have the second line of Connor Brown, JT, and Nylander.
Yep.
I don't hate it.
I'll read him more in the playoffs too. I think he's defensive game, and I think Bunting was exposed in the playoffs. I think in a pinch, Connor Brown can play on that top line too. I think he has all the tools.
Oh, for
he's
sure.
Played with them before. Yeah,
most guys can play on that top line just because of the other two. Mike sent me this Instagram post. I don't know if he also sent it to you. I assume not.
Please tell me it's Puck Empire.
It is Puck Empire. I don't know if you also got this one, but it was a trade proposal involving Jake Muzzin. Did you get this, or did he just
from Matt Law?
No. Did he send you that?
He sent me that and a bunch of ones for the Habs where it was they bring back Matthew Perreault. No.
It was actually it was Jake Muzzin for Josh Bailey straight up.
That's weird. That just doesn't make sense. But
sounds like I don't know. The Islanders always.
I know why it does. I have an inclination of why it doesn't make sense. But
what's Justin Bailey's contract?
Same term, $5 million.
Wait. Term is Muzzin. So what? 2, 3.
Same term as Muzzin. So 2 more years.
Do they want to bring that contract? I don't know if
Muzzin or Bailey.
Bailey.
They're about the same age, right? Yeah.
Who replaces Muzzin?
Right. That's what it comes down to. So that's what it comes down to is moving Muzzin seems like it could work is if you're bringing listen, could Josh Bailey play on the second line? He's played with John Tavares before. Yeah. It's worked. Yeah. Possible. It's just there you go. There's your answer.
Didn't he score 40 goals with them, or am I thinking of someone else?
You'll have to double check that. I'm not sure.
No. Wait. This is clearly not the right Justin Bailey.
Josh
Bailey. I was about to say.
Oh, my Lord.
Justin has never scored more than 2 goals.
No, Josh Bailey.
But we believe in his potential, Justin.
The New York Islander, Josh Bailey.
Yeah. I swear he had a 40-goal year, and it may have been with Tavares. No, it wasn't him. Okay, this is.
It might have been Acapulco.
Or Anders Lee.
Yes, Anders Lee. Okay, I was thinking of Anders Lee. What am I doing? Oh, they know he was 18-goal guy.
Listen,
$5 million.
I don't know. Was that Lou?
I wouldn't be surprised. I should double check that.
It might be good old Garth. You might want to check that one.
On. We got to double. Where am I? I'm on Puckpedia somehow. How did this happen? Okay, give me a minute. I'll find it.
I don't necessarily I get the idea. I just don't know if I would go on with the execution.
3.4 is better than 5. That's what's really going to help about that third pairing being so cheap is it's going to help with the trade deadline.
Oh yeah, listen, if the question is, what on earth does that second pair look like?
It was by Gar Snow, by the way.
Oh, of course it was. Like, is that second pair Muzzin Hall? Because that works so well this year.
Where is Sandin playing?
He's taking Jake Muzzin's spot.
I don't think you.
Okay,
I don't think they're going to win a round with that.
They won't, especially if it's Sandin Hall. But if you listen, I'm going nuts right now. I'm thinking craziness right now. Like you could, pardon?
In an Ottinger trade, that's
he could
be going.
That yeah, maybe. But if you want to completely rework that second, third, like that bottom four in your defense, so you have Giordano Liljegren, but then you go Sandin, and then you trade Muzzin, trade Hall. Like, listen, these are crazy things and so much harder, easier said than done. But you do that, and you completely you get a Jake Muzzin who can play on the right. And why will it be Josh Manson? I just had to throw that in there. But yeah, I don't know who's going to replace Mikheyev. My guess is it's probably through free agency. I think they're more I think they'll make a trade at the back end or in the
Josh Hosang finally get there. Okay. I was going to talk about Bob McKenzie and Slupkowski.
Let's do it.
Because do you know what, Alex? You know why we should wait? Because this Sunday, July 3rd, will be the official 2-on-1 podcast draft preview of development and
prestige
prestige and honor, like the award show. I'm gonna hold it off there because honestly, it's going to be more. Obviously, we're going to have it'll be nice that we get to talk about the Leafs having a first round pick and play. But I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of Habs discussion with the draft preview. Considering you guys don't know that the listeners don't know this, I have had stuff about the draft preview on the dock for about 2 months. So it's there. It's been there for a while, and it's not everything. I actually bought the Elite Prospects thing and sent it to the guys.
Thank you.
So we could no worries. So we could prepare for this. So we're going to hold off and talk about the first overall thing because it's annoying. But yeah, that's everything for today. Honestly, we're at the time of the year where any day something monumental can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exaggerating.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
You should be too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said it like that, but
okay, thank you. Just one thing before we go. Shout out to the Hamilton Bulldogs, Jan Mysak, Mason McTavish.
Yeah, guy who tipped the goal to send them to the finals. Jan Mysak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Arbor Jack guy. Have some respect.
Oh, well, also for Alex, I think, was it William Villeneuve?
Yeah.
Yes, he is in the
St. John Sea Dogs.
I would like to know because it's on right now, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Hold on. No, I don't care about it. Wait a minute. I think it's on now. Hold on. I want to double check. What is today's day? I can tell.
June 29th.
It's 4-1. It's 4-1. Is it the Sea Dogs? How do you say it? It's 4-1 Sea Dogs halfway through the game. So Daniel, unfortunately, it looks like Mason McTavish will be coming to Anaheim camp a little downtrodden. That's unfortunate.
I still can't get over that he played in the CHL this year.
I know.
That was because did he not start the year with the Ducks? Right?
Yeah, he did. Man, and he got loaned to the World Juniors, and then from there he went back.
That's crazy.
You know who's been a great story in the Memorial Cup, by the way? William Dufour, I think is how you say his name. He's been I think it's his past calendar year. He's at 60-something goals.
Wow.
He hosts St. John Sea Dogs, by the way. So I don't know how many goals he has today. Quebec guy. So I don't know who I think he belongs to the Islanders, actually. By the way, people who see that Josh Anderson for 13th overall, I don't want to believe that because it is terms of a trade with the Islanders being made public.
Yeah, so
it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
That's actually a great point.
Yeah. So I saw that. I'm like, I don't know about that. If it happens, you run to the hills. But hey, let's go. That's everything though for today. As I dump all my notes, you may have heard that. I don't care. Guys, check Twitter and see if there's anything about going on in the world and shenanigans. It's unfortunate there's no more Kenobi. Very sad.
Yeah.
Garen says wild priorities to re-sign Marc-Andre Fleury and Jake Middleton. I forgot they got Middleton. Okay. Shane Wright asked, what does he think of Bob McKenzie's thing? He doesn't care. He's not worried. Good. Please take him. Okay. That's everything. I've said that 3 times or something now, but
bye guys.
Thank you for. Well, we gotta do the whole thing. What are you doing? Trying to derail. No, you can do it then. You're just derailing the end of the stream.
All right, guys. This was great. Now that you want a podcast, always fun. So be sure to check us all on socials. We're all there. Check us out. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Twitter, and especially Facebook. But wherever you can, please give us a rating. It's deeply appreciated. See you on Sunday.